SRF Ninja here from SoRealFlix.com, and I'm here to show you some of my Asian film collection. Guess what? This is my Shaw Brother portion of the collection. This is part 4B. This is the second portion of it, and I'm going to show you some more Shaw Brother films. Let's get down into it. Let's get down to the highest quality Shaw Brother film I have, as in picture quality. The rest are going to be like Red Sun type of films, which is only recommended if you can't find the films anywhere else. And let's get down to All Men Are Brothers on Blu-ray. And it stars David Chang and Ti Lung. Those two guys together are always awesome. Gotta have this in your collection. In part 3, we got part 2 here, and part 4. I know I showed you all those completely out of order. Part 1 was in my last collection there, and I highly enjoyed all of them because I'm actually a pretty big fan of Fuxing. But anyways, I enjoyed them. You can find them, pick them up. Next up, Four Assassins, aka Marco Polo. Fuxing film. Like I said, a lot of these films are Fuxing films. Awesome film. Also has this white dude in it, American. Overall, it's a decent film, actually. I enjoyed it. Not the greatest, but it also stars Gordon Liu. He has some hair. Okay, next up, Death Chamber, aka Shaolin Temple. Don't get it confused with the Jet Li film. It's another Fuxing film. Boom. This is actually a really good film. It's got some great action in it. Look at that back right there. You see that action? I highly enjoyed it. Next up, Iron Fingers of Death. Boom. It's featuring or starring Ti Lung. It's actually an okay film, not the greatest, but still a good film. It's aka Shaolin Prince. A lot of these guys have aka names. When you bring them over, they change the names of the titles to appeal to American fans. Another Fuxing film, Grandmaster of Death. It's an okay film. I enjoyed it. More of a modern type piece, I would say, but it's still a good film. Next up, The Magnificent Kung Fu Warriors, or if you want to say aka Magnificent Wanderers. Cool film. This is actually a great film, I would say. I would say definitely pick this up. It's got some great action in it. Got some comedy. He's known for some comedy as well. Next up, Not Cheetah Great. This is actually a really good film. I highly enjoyed this one. Got some weapon combat in it. Some hand-to-hand. And of course, it stars Fuxing. Next up, we're getting into some David Chang stuff, who is one of my favorite actors. Shaolin Handlock, very awesome film. Really great hand-to-hand combat, as you can tell just by the name. I highly enjoyed the style that David Chang is portraying in that. Next up, The Magic Blade, starring Ti Lung. He's like one of the main stars of the Shaw Brothers. He's probably done the most films out of all the Shaw Brothers stars, and I highly enjoy Ti Lung. The film itself is, of course, a sword film, and I thought it was an okay film. Not the greatest, but it's cool. Next up, The Angry Guest, modern type piece starring David Chang. I thought it was a cool film. Not the greatest, but still a fun film to watch. And this is actually the sequel to Duel of Fists, if you know what I'm talking about. Also stars Ti Lung in it. And if you have both of those guys in the same film, you gotta have it. Okay, next up, Kung Fu Vengeance, digitally remastered, starring David Chang. Ti Lung, gotta have it. Also has Yuen Ping in it. Hey! Anyways, I thought this was a cool film. Not the greatest, again, but still a fun film to watch. If you can find it, pick it up. If you can find any Shaw Brother film, you should pick it up. Here's more of a modern day film that I highly enjoyed. It's more about army, war, 7-man army. You know, these guys have guns, but they're still kicking people. I thought it was a great film. And this is a film that's highly talked about in the Kung Fu world as well. Starring Ti Lung and David Chang, Alexander Fuxing, and Chen Ti. Have all those great actors in it. You gotta have this one. Got some, like I said, great actors, and it's also directed by Chang Chi. Gotta have this film in your collection. 7-man army. Next up, Boxer from Shangtung, or the aka Killer from Shangtung, starring my man Chen Ti, and also David Chang. Awesome film, great action, and I highly enjoyed it. Pick it up. Next up, The Savage Five. Boom. Again, starring a great cast. You got David Chang, Ti Lung. You got Chen Ti in it, and Wang Chung. Gotta have this film. Awesome film. Great action. It's a Shaw Brother film. Come on now. Gotta have it. Great martial art action in this. Look at that. Next up, Shaolin Martial Arts. Boom. Starring some Fuxing. Alexander Fuxing, I should say. Overall, the film is great. I highly enjoyed it. It's got some great hand-to-hand action in it. Pick it up. Next up, Seven Blows of the Dragon. This is another film that's been talked a lot about in the martial arts film community. Starring Chang and Ti Lung, and David Chang. Those three guys, gotta have them. It's a must-have if they're in the film. Gotta pick it up. And I highly enjoyed it. It's also called AKA The Water Margin. Right there, as you can see. I enjoyed it. Find it, buy it. Next up, a very good film. Duel of the Iron Fists. This is the ending right here. Look at that. You gotta have this film. This is one of my favorite Ti Lung and David Chang films collaboration. And I highly enjoyed this one. Great action. Great story. Next up, another army type film going on here. Navy Commandos. A lot of action on a boat. But guess who's in this? Alexander Fushing. I love him. Also stars Ti Lung and David Chang. Again, a must-have. But again, this is more of a, Chinese versus Japanese. These Chinese guys are going on a Japanese boat. And I'm not talking about, because they're whaling or anything like that. Next up, a film that I didn't really know about, but I picked it up. It has a weird title. Barefooted Kid. I actually highly enjoyed it. As you can see the title, the guy has no shoes. But he can kick some serious ass. And it's a guy I've never seen before. And it was kind of refreshing. And I highly enjoyed it. But also stars Ti Lung in it. I think that the main character's Aaron Kwok. Highly enjoyable. Pick it up. Okay, next up is the film that a lot of people talk about. Bells of Death. It's an older film. You get to see how Shaw Brothers did films in the 60s. And this is actually a very highly enjoyable film. Starring Chen Ping in it. Pick it up if you can find it. This is actually a must-have. Next up, School of Shaolin, a.k.a. Iron Monkey. Starring my man. Who's that? Huh? Chang and Ti. Look at that, he's playing a monkey. Gotta have this. I love me some Chang and Ti. He does some great action films, and he's portraying a monkey. Who doesn't like films where people are acting like monkeys, man? Next up, speaking of monkey film, Stroke of Death, a.k.a. Monkey Kung Fu. This is a cool film, actually. I enjoyed it. You can find it, buy it. Next up, 5 Super Fighters. Boom, look at that. Got a lot of actors in here. A lot of them, you don't really know. It's not the main actors from Shaw Brothers, but it does star Quan Fung in it. He's in a couple films I've seen. The film itself is highly enjoyable. I highly liked it. It's got some great action in it. It's got different styles of fighting in it. Gotta pick it up. Next up, Boxer from the Temple. There's no AKA on this. It's actually the follow-up to 5 Super Fighters, which I just showed you. And I guess if you got that film, you gotta have this one. And I thought this was actually a good film as well. Next up, Shaolin Intruders. Starring Derek Yee. Remember that guy? Boom. Got some great action in it. It's more of a got hand-to-hand. It's got some monk action in it as well, or standing on top of some chairs there if you can see that. It's a decent film. Next up, Slice of Death. Boom. Starring ultimate bad guy Lo Lee, who I think is actually the good guy in this one. And I highly enjoyed it. This is actually a must-have. AKA Shaolin Abbott. Who stars in this? My man David Chang. He plays a monk. This is like his only role. He's playing a monk, and it's a must-have. Some people may say it's mediocre. I get a little bit more than mediocre because I love me some David Chang. Next up, Render This with Death. Boom. Starring Lo Lee, ultimate bad guy, and Chang and Ti. Come on now. Actually, this is a really good film. I highly enjoyed it. Next up, Warriors of Steel, a.k.a. Man of Iron. Starring my man, Chang and Ti. Look at that. That's a cool cover. I like it. It's got some great action in it. It's got some knife fights in there. And I highly enjoyed it. If you can find it, pick it up. Next up, getting down to some David Chang and Ti Lung again. Deadly Duo. Very good film. Highly enjoyable. More of a weapon type film. And I highly enjoyed it. Pick it up. Next up, starring Fushing, Alexander Fushing. Shaolin Avengers. This is actually a really good film, I think. I thought it was a cool film. Next up, The Kung Fu Instructor, starring Ti Lung. It's actually a good film. Ti Lung's playing the instructor. Teaches these guys Kung Fu, who then, take revenge. And I thought the storyline, the plot was actually pretty good. Next up, starring Jimmy Wang Yu. Just like I said before, it's a must-have. The Assassin. He's playing the assassin. It's got some great action in it, and like a lot of his films, he's always playing with a sword. Next up and last for part B of my Shaw Brother film show-off is The Kid with the Tattoo. With a tattoo, I should say. This is actually a really good film. I highly enjoyed it. I love the story of this. I thought it was great. It's also, I think the director was John Woo. Come on now. And if you can find it, I would say definitely pick this up. It belongs in your collection. It's definitely a refresh for me. I loved it. Alright guys, that was the last film I'm showing you in part B. of my Shaw Brother film collection and my Asian film collection show off. Anyways, thanks for viewing. Come back again to see part C, or part 4C, I should say, of my Asian film collection. Be Shaw Brothers again. That'll be my last showing off of my Shaw Brothers, and then I'll get back into some other Asian films. Anyways, thanks for viewing. Check out all the cool links below. Subscribe. Check out SRFLix.com, and come back again next time to check out my other films. Alright guys, thanks for viewing. Ninja out.